absolutely delighted and excited. We have with us today estate agency royalty, Power of Power Bespoke. How are you, sir?
Well, very well. Thank you very much. I've obviously had to brand up today.
Well, you weren't going to get away with that, were you? I mean, obviously.
And I promise it's because I'm meeting you and not because I'm playing tennis in town.
These are all. This isn't going to be Frost Nixon, just so you know. It's going to be a nice, gentle, relaxed. We're not going to be trying to beat each other, but I will let you know who won at the end of it. Okay. Look, thanks very much for jumping on with us. First of all, always great to catch up with your good self. You're doing some of the most exciting stuff I've seen on there with Power Bespoke. Probably worth us actually just tapping into that. We had a catch up just before we jumped on this. It's been really interesting journey for you guys, hasn't it? Because you've looked at like what the standard tech was that was out there, and you've been done what is quite, people would say, quite brave. You've gone out and looked and said, well, look, there is this behemoth in the CRM world, the world's largest CRM in Salesforce, and via Property Base, which I think is a US, is it now owned by a Canadian company from memory? You've gone down the route of building this very bespoke, obviously where the name come from, CRM system that matches you. And I'm really, really keen. First of all, let's just touch into that, and then we're going to talk about how Lettspay, the automated rental payment system, ties into that and what your experience has been. So just give us a bit of background, if you wouldn't mind, about what Power Bespoke is and kind of how you see that.
So we were always our kind of taglines remarkably different. And now that's not from an external looking in. It's also, we operate internally very differently to your traditional estate agency.
Yep.
And I believe that your tech is there to adapt around your business, not your business having to adapt to the tech that you choose.
I can imagine loads of people giving it the old testify and do it, but it's a really powerful statement. That, of course, most people feel like they have to take a sacrifice and actually bend themselves to the tech rather than, as you said.
The reality is, everyone has to, because most tech solutions are off the shelf. This is you. Let's take payment providers or whatever, or client accounting or whatever. You've got to you look at 3 different versions and decide which one is right for you. Same with CRMs. You look at all the different versions and be like, that one, we've got a compromise there, but that's probably overall the best one to go with.
Yep.
I wanted to have a solution to say, how do we want this to work for us, and let's make it happen. Yep. So, and I'm a right geek. I think I'm just quite lucky with when I was born and when I come into the industry, in that I'm at that age where I got into the industry when it was applicant cards.
Yeah. And
I've grown as an agent at a time when tech's really come to fruition. And I just really appreciate the fact that a technically amazing old school estate agent, which I was trained to be, mixed with incredible tech and geekiness, you can create amazing things.
Talk to us about, so that's great that you've got that great vision, that ability to obviously know what you want. And I think that's a key element there, is actually being able to communicate through to the pure techies as well, isn't it? Effectively, what you need there. We're talking about Lettspay here today, which has been a relatively...
Just rewind on that a little bit. I'm not sure my communication to the techies is that good, because what I actually said to them was, I want to be able to create and send memos from my toilet. The rest,
yeah. Okay.
The rest, I don't worry how we do that. Just, can you make it happen?
You've got Steve Jobs behind you up on the wall there. I absolutely know for a fact he did a lot of his best work on the throne, so that's absolutely fine. So, do you remember how long have you been using Lettspay? What attracted you to them in the first place?
18 months or so, probably now. Maybe even 2 years. Typical scenario. We've got a problem in the bit. It's a long story short, COVID hit. We were very 95% sales income in our business. We'd done lettings pretty much just when stuff comes to us, or a property maybe wasn't selling and the owner had the option to rent it out. You know what it's like. And then COVID hit, and I was like, we've got to put some petrol on this bad boy and actually start growing the letting side. So we took on an incredible head of lettings called Sally Eubank. She's probably better to have on this call than me, to be honest, but I didn't want to pass that opportunity of seeing your sexy face. So Sally come on board. At that point, we were outsourcing the management of 20, 30 properties maybe. Yeah. So it wasn't a problem for us, because all that was handled by the outsourced white label provider.
Yep.
it wasn't the one that soon after that went kaput. It was another one. So Sally started, she's like, look, this is great, but if we're going to really grow this, we need full end-to-end control. So then we started looking for CRM systems, payment solutions. Obviously, there's a few players in the rental accounting payment space. We had demos of all of them, and Lettspay just nailed it.
Okay, so we'll come back to the competitors there in a while. We don't have to actually name them, of course, but we can. I think we all know who they are. What do you, when you saw it? What do you think the key strengths are that you saw then? And interestingly, have there been other key strengths that have developed over time? Because you've been using it quite a long period of time now. And let's be really honest, the elephant in the room with a lot of tech is it doesn't all work 100% out of the box from day one. Sometimes it takes a while actually for some of those other benefits to bed down and to become apparent.
No, it was immediate. And I said to Sally the other day, 18 months in, what's the one thing that you couldn't live without if I had to take something away from you? She was like, Lettspay.
Okay, well, that probably ended there, to be honest.
But let me go deeper, right? And look, I've put 5 bullet points, and I'll let you squeeze me on more things of these, right? So the top one for me was that it does one thing remarkably, incredibly, world-beating well.
Yeah.
And that's just the ins and the outs of money from tenants.
The most important thing, basically, the bit you can't get wrong, isn't it? You need that working absolutely smoothly, and on the back of that, you can build an efficient lettings operation, can't you?
Yeah, and because we had, obviously back to Salesforce, because we had just built our custom property management object in Salesforce that handled gas cert renewals, automating the ordering to the plumber for gas cert renewals, blah, blah, blah. We didn't need it in there. We just needed it. If there was going to be one piece of tech that we didn't want particularly involved in our main tech stack, it was the rent in, contractor paid, rent out to landlord and our fee.
Yeah.
And it blew the socks off one of my points there as well was it does one thing so well, but the simplicity of how it does it is incredible. Like, I think tech's like beautiful when it makes something so complicated just so simple.
Cool.
And
that's where the magic stuff happens. I mean, but really, by definition, that's what tech's about, isn't it? It's to make the complicated simple and everything else. And sometimes it goes the other way, doesn't it? Because it is a spectrum of capability with everything, isn't it? Whether you're looking at the capabilities of a product or the way that it integrates, it's not enough just to have a generic tick in the box there. It does need to be almost graded, doesn't it? A 0, doesn't deliver at all. 1, 2, it's obviously not doing it well, all the way through to 9 to 10, where the magic happens in terms of efficiency. And I think you said off camera before, anything that you could do that you could get those efficiencies into the business obviously needs to be chased down relentlessly.
Yeah. I mean, it's just from those 2 things, does one thing really well, and making it simple is, I mean, we've got mainly one person working in it, but I've got another 2 members of staff that can dip in and do rents in the mornings or whatever. And we're passionate about, we want to do rents every day. I know some like guys are like, oh my God, that's crazy. We do it once every fortnight or once a week or whatever. But because it literally takes 5 minutes to process 40 rents, it's so quick. So why not do it every day and increase? Interestingly, in our terms of business, we do a weekly run. Yeah, that's our external standard, but our internal standard is every day.
But, then wonderfully, you're over delivering. So again,
exactly,
it's great.
Because we can, because we're not logging into online banking and all that crap.
I'm not being funny as well. That's a different, we're all okay. We're here today doing the pink cow thing, not the purple cow. But Seth Golden, how do you stand out from the competition? That is a genuine. A lot of people are kind of stuck in the past, though. I say doing it on a monthly basis, and you're here saying no. We've got better standards than that. That's a lovely thing to be able to step up to the plate with, isn't it?
In our industry, I think clients make a lot of assumptions because clients would assume, why would you not pay more rent when it comes in? But actually, when you look at the crux of an operational of a lettings business, generally it's done weekly, fortnightly, monthly, but they don't realise that. So one of the things I say to landlords is, by all means, speak to that letting agent, but just make sure they pay your rent as soon as it comes in. That's all, because they might be sitting on your rent.
Interested me there was you said that actually we got a load of these benefits from day one. Now that shows to me, and it's all well and good to say that it's simple to use and everything else, but you know, and that will be a feature of the service, the technology itself. But also, what does the onboarding look like from them that meant that you were able to get those benefits from day one? Was that
This was the next thing, right?
effective?
So my next two things, and my next one was the support is just like ridiculous. I said to Eugenio, you probably dealt with him, he's amazing. I was like, because Sally likes having a weekly call with Eugenio every week. It's set time and date. They've got it scheduled. In fact, I think it's twice a week. And I messaged him saying, look, she's very good. She can actually do it. She's probably just pulling on you because you're there. And he was like, no, that's fine. But we really enjoyed doing it. And because we were quite an early adopter with it, I think he likes the fact that I'm happy to come on things like this and talk about it. But that is a genuine benefit in that Sally was a bit uncertain. Now they just do once a month catch up, because if she's got something sitting in there, which she's not sure how to allocate it and stuff, because it might be simple, but you can't just throw money around willy-nilly, because once something's done, it's audited and it's on the audit log and it's kind of logged.
Yeah.
So
and then it auto allocates going forwards, as I understand it, doesn't it? Is that right?
Yeah. And so the support's been another level, and because it's all we needed it to do was handle the ins and the outs, contractors, our fee. It's nice seeing our bank account within Lettspay just keep increasing, and we withdraw once a month. You could do it every day if you wanted to, but that's really good. And then I guess the final really important thing is the value for money. Like, I think it's incredible value for money when you compare to other things in the industry, that to use it, you have to set up a client account with them. So then what I've found is a few of my friends who own agencies have tried to come away from them, and it's like, you've lost your client account. You've got to tell all your tenants different bank details. But the great thing is with Lettspay is that everyone gets their own unique bank account.
Yeah.
Every tenant's different. Every landlord's different. And it's just remote. It's crazy.
And that's really important, isn't it? Because every single time you go back to somebody there, with the amount of phishing that goes on these days and everything else, just even though it might be an absolutely valid request, people instinctively feel very nervous handing over information there. So to have that, you know, effective onboarding from day one is really, really, really important.
I'm pretty sure as well. I'm pretty sure, I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure it utilizes open banking.
Yeah.
So rent reminders is a text message with a link that just once clicked opens up their banking app, and they just got to approve the payment and it's done. And
here's a really interesting thing, Perry, and actually this is where, you know, you again looking at outside technology, whether that's Salesforce or everything else. I keep saying we're not just being judged, are we, about our competitors on the high street, off the high street, whatever else. We're being judged against the other businesses that are out there. And if people can't do what they can do in other walks of life, that reflects badly, doesn't it, in terms of back on the business. So when we are all looking for those nice, you know, whether it's All Agents or Esther's reviews or Google reviews or anything else, they're going to be far less likely to feel overwhelmed and happy about it if they felt they've had to do too much, because we're feel like a bit more backward.
Yeah, I think, again, it comes down to even just the tenant experience. Like, I remember back in the day when I was working lettings, we had to make sure the week before rent due date that they've got sent us a screen grab of the standing order that's been set up for ongoing rents, which is a bit pointless because they can cancel it the day after if they really wanted to. But with the open banking, the text messages, the post late rent reminders, it just really increases there's huge operational benefits, but the main one I think is just efficiency. It makes the lettings financial side operate much more efficiently.
Are you able to grade that, or do you just know? You just kind of know instinctively that it is giving you an efficiency benefit, or have you been able to measure it in any shape or form as to what it actually saves you in the process?
I mean, we haven't got a massive portfolio. We manage just over 100 properties, but I reckon it saves at least an hour a day.
And over the month and over the year, and of course, it's only going to get, you know, deliver back those ROI savings, isn't it?
Because let's say every morning someone's logging in, checking rents that are in, and then they've come in, then they're having to, I don't know, allocate some contractor payments against it, and I don't know how the other stuff works, but then log into the bank and make a batch payment or whatever, or CSV upload a batch payment and download from there, and I can imagine it's going to and this is where I think we take the tech for granted at times as well.
Well, what you don't factor in is every time you're able to get one of those iterative improvements, and it might sound like, not that much, but an hour here, an hour there, factored in over the course of the week and the month and the year there, puts you at a strategic advantage over those people that are faffing around doing admin. I mean, if we talk about, again, what tech is meant to do, it's meant to save you the time and energy that you can do on more dollar productive things.
Yeah, dude, I've since I started Power Bespoke, I've just been on like growth mode. Like, let's just get growth and brand awareness and instructions and stuff and sell houses. But we've got to a point now where I think this is where I'm maybe maturing in my business ownership, and I'm just squeezing the lemon for every marginal gain of profitability, efficiency. An hour spent, that person spending an hour doing that is costing me soon to be, I don't know, £15-20 an hour. So ridiculous. So yeah, I'm really in that. The tech's there to enable the experts to do more, not replace the experts.
I think what I'm always fascinated, let's be honest, you could look at this as a rather dry subject matter there, but to see kind of the passion that's coming through for something that what it does is it makes such a just because it's not exciting, because it's mandatory, because it's important, because if you want to have a successful lettings business, you need to have this working as well as it can. That's clearly coming across from obviously you and the rest of the team, that is being delivered in spades.
Yeah, it is a hugely beneficial thing, and there's other things that we obviously got. Salesforce is the main mother thing, but then each side of that we use probably another day, but Lettspay for all the ins and outs financials, even with moving balance, but also ongoing rents and stuff. And then we use kind of Blink at the front end for all the referencing, tenancy agreements, blah blah blah. So there's mainly 3 pieces of tech that we rely on to run our whole lettings business.
Yeah, and one of the things that we see at Kerfuffle regularly is that one of the frustrations with many agents have is this tech stack has become so big because they've got one product for an individual niche part of the solution there, that it's all stacked up like I always align it to a bit like a Jenga pile, and it feels like if you take one piece out of it, the tighter and the fewer partners you can have, the easier it is to manage, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember talking about this. I think before I went to Salesforce, I had 14 different bits of tech all doing something individual, weren't talking to each other because the UK's only kind of learnt about open API in the last couple of years, but now we've literally got 4 or 5 maximum, and they automatically talk to each other as well. So but I'm also a massive fan of having a standalone product for the one thing. I could spend thousands building something in Salesforce, or just pay 40, 50, 60 $60 a month for that one feature.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I was going to say, don't everybody do what Perry does, because if everybody only has 4 or 5 suppliers, there's absolutely no need for kerfuffle. So that's
making sure those 4 or 5 are the right ones, because that's the trouble, is that there's a lot of dross out there and crap doing the same things potentially.
It's having your eggs in one basket, but that basket being easier to look after, isn't it? I think that's absolutely that's really exciting. And look, as I said, I obviously see some of the posts you have there, and it's very clear the benefits you get back for, because then you can concentrate on enhancing those so much easier, isn't it? Okay, this is brilliant. So give us your final thoughts then on Lettspay, and I suppose how would you rate your experience overall with him? Obviously, this is to non-competitive agents, as we said, and everything else. How would you summarize your experience?
No, yeah, I mean, 11 out of 10. But that whole non-competing stuff, it's fine. Like, I wish, honestly, they're that good. I wish every agent that competes with me would use it, because I really want to see the team there do really well, because they're built, because I understand a bit of tech, they've just built something really. This is the problem with tech, as in a lot of it that has been built to solve a problem that don't exist, or non-estate agents think there's a problem. But
people in ivory towers creating solutions.
And this is genuinely, I believe, and there's other stuff out there that does maybe a few more bits included, but the fundamentals, Lettspay is the best thing out there.
I don't think we've heard much stronger recommendations that even the competition can do it, because again, what that's showing there is this isn't just a supplier to your business; they're a genuine partner, isn't it?
They're part of it. Yeah,
I mean, you can't always work with with businesses that you like the people there, but it doesn't have to make it 10 times nicer if you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, Perry, thanks so much for sharing. Obviously 11 out of 10, but we're a 5-star system here in Kerfuffle, so I'm just going to translate that to 5.25 stars or whatever it is. But thank you for that. Thank you for sharing there. And I need to obviously catch up with you on your wider tech there as well, because it sounds like you've got a hell of a tech stack.
Proper sesh. Yeah, nice.
Wish you all the very best and look forward to catching up with you
Thank you,
in
mate.
a very short period of time.
Take care.
Cheers, Barry.